Hey everybody, what's going on? Your host LovelyCheesePizza here. Tonight's episode of Gran Turismo 3 is brought to you by this almost completely consumed piece of watermelon. Because I'm still eating it from when I did my other episode that I was working on, and it's delicious. So, you know, you just have to make up sponsorships when you're not sponsored by anybody. Welcome back to Let's Play some more Gran Turismo 3, the Ultimate Driving Simulator, where last time we, what did we do? Oh, I think we finished up stuff using the, using the Calsonic Skyline, that's right. And then we got this really cool looking 400R afterwards that I really want to use it in something. Just because I love the way it looks. Is it the most powerful thing that we've got? No. But it's just visually very appealing to me, and so at some point we're gonna fiddle around with it. And at the end of the episode, I decided to jump into the GT40 and kind of soup it up a little bit because I want to use it. We've not had the opportunity to do anything with this car yet, and I know just what we can do it with. I'm really hoping that it is properly geared for this because I didn't go back and look at its stats, but I remember beefing it up pretty considerably. And I want to go back and go to the Gran Turismo All-Stars thing, and I want to clean up these two races that have been just plaguing me for a while. I have put it off long enough, and I want to get rid of it. And so let's go jump into the test course, and this will really be the barometer of whether this car is appropriate or not for this challenge, because we're going to be dealing with cars that are pretty damn fast. I'm almost positive that C5R Corvette's going to be fucking around in here somewhere, so he is waiting. He is not here. Oh, well, ain't that a real treat. However, Tom Supra is there, and the Viper is there, and the old Super Auto Backs Mr. S is there. Stan Smith is in his car ready to drive, and I say, let's go. So, boy, I really hope this is going to work out really well. I have a dream to talk to you guys about. This happened to me earlier today, and it was just so fucking weird. I've had plenty of dreams that, you know, woke me up in a cold sweat, but this one was, it woke me up it woke me up not necessarily in a cold sweat, but I woke up literally fearing for my own life. So that's you know, a little bit of a different thing. I literally woke up wondering if I was actually alive or not. So that's, you know, it's a little bit different than just the average. I woke up in a cold sweat because the situation was scary. I woke up not in a cold sweat, but I was like legitimately like, okay, well we'll get there. So so today, you know, because it was my day off, I had the opportunity of going to over to my fiance's house and spending time with her and her and one of the little ones. Since I had the day off, and I also had the opportunity of not. I feel bad saying I had the opportunity to not have to watch my watch my grandmother today. My mom was going to be at home, and so she afforded me the chance of, you know, going out and being able to kind of get out and you know, enjoy the day instead of being, you know, here at the house. And so I decided to go out and enjoy, and went over to her house and you know, neither one of us really got a lot of sleep last night, just because it's been hot at night, and it's just, we've been staying up late and all this stuff. And so we decided to take a little nap. And in the middle of this nap that we were taking, I had this dream, and it was just fucking weird. By the way, super glad that our car is effectively fast enough, since we're in 5th gear going 200 miles an hour. Good lord. Sweet Steve Francis. Anywho, so in this dream, she and I and Haley we're in this house. I don't know whose house it is. It was just a house that in said dream space was our house. And we're sitting at like this little breakfast table thing that's just like right in the middle of the kitchen. And there was like something on the TV, and we were just kind of sitting there doing whatever. And at one point, I was getting ready to stand up and maybe like go take my plate over to the sink. I don't remember exactly what the situation was, but right before I did that, Michaela grabs onto my necklace here without me knowing about it, and she just like, she grabbed onto my necklace, and she was just holding it, and then I stood up, and right as I stood up and kind of turned to, to go towards the thing, she has just got like this super wild, like Nazi death grip on my necklace, and it starts like choking me. And so, kind of playfully, I'm like, oh, you should let go of that. I can't breathe. Ha 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 ha, hardy hardy har. Don't asphyxiate me to death, sort of thing. And she is giving me just like this stone cold stare, and she is just holding that necklace just like this, and it's like legit choking me, because I try to back up, and then she just grips it a little harder, and now it's like legit choking me. And so now I try to get Haley's attention, like Haley, you need to help me get this thing, you gotta help me here. And I'm having such a hard time like voicing that I need help, but I'm sitting here like basically choking and like hacking and trying to get either one of their attention, that I'm literally fucking dying at this moment. Like, I can't breathe, and my air passage is blocked, and both of them at the same time, they're giving me just this absolutely cold, dead as hell stare. They're just looking at me like they're looking right through me, almost like I'm not even there. It's just this weird thing, and she's just holding that necklace just like this. I mean, she is not letting up on that thing whatsoever. I mean, she is giving that thing just like some crazy ass, like Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat, just crazy, ninjutsu sort of just death hold. Even more so, maybe like the Sonya Blade on Kano headlock thing from the movie, where she ultimately snaps his neck and kills him or whatever. And so, as I'm sitting here, like, starting to flail around, like, trying to loosen myself up after I realize that neither one of them are going to let go by any means, I just, like, I'm starting to, like, count time in my head, like, while I'm sitting here flailing around, like, I can't do this much longer. Like, if I legit, don't find a way to free myself from this situation really, really quick, I'm going to just straight up suffocate and die. And it was at that moment where I had like this weird moment of consciousness in the middle of this, while I'm counting up into like the 50s for time, that I can feel my heartbeat, like my actual physical heartbeat in real life during this dream. I can feel it starting to speed up a bunch, and I can feel that my I had like this, like, kind of like out of body, sort of like out of world experience, if you will. Like, it was almost like I kind of knew I was in a dream, but also not at the same time. It was very bizarre. And I'm like counting like 57, 58, 59, 1 minute, 101, 102, and as soon as I got to 103, my vision just blurred out, and it turned green. Just like totally faded out to green of all. I don't know why I went to green. I don't feel like that's the color that would naturally happen there. I feel like it would just fade to black as it's supposed to. But when it faded out, I all of a sudden just like bolted awake. I just like totally freaked the hell out. I like convulsed myself awake, and I was like gasping for air, to realize that when I woke up, I was laying flat on my back, which is, when, I do that fairly often. So it's not like I was in a situation where I was like, like maybe like, with my face like buried into like her hair, or like into the pillow, or something where I was like legit suffocating. I was just laying on my back. So it was just this entirely weird thing. But I woke up just like frantically gasping for air, and like holding my own throat, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, am I actually okay here? And I was like almost looking to, to see, if my necklace had gotten caught on something, and it didn't. It was just such a strange dream. And so it took me about a good, probably 5 to 10 minutes or so of just like trying to get my system to calm down, from just like the weird shock of it all, I guess would be. Just to try to, get my heart rate back down to normal, and just, try to even myself out. And I eventually nodded back off to sleep again. And this is something that happens very rarely to a lot of people, but when I fell back asleep, I re-entered the same dream. like, not the situation where I was suffocating again, but I re-entered the exact same house and just this kind of this, you know, the same environment all over again. But this time everything was fine. Like, you know, she was responding normally, and it was just like everything was all hunky-dory, like nothing ever happened. It's like, hey, I love you. I did not totally try to fucking suffocate you in a different time and space that you were just occupying not 10 minutes ago. I didn't try to kill you. You know, nothing like that. But all of a sudden, we were just hanging out in the living room now. And we're sitting there, and then all of a sudden, these two fucking spiders, like, levitated off the ground. They just appeared, levitated off the ground, and, you know, just, like, adhered themselves to the ceiling. And I mean, these fucking monsters were just unrealistically big. When I say big, I'm trying to, like, I'm looking around in this room, try to find something that would be, you know, adequate in terms of scale, and I can't really think of anything right offhand. We'll call it, now that I'm on a straightaway here, we'll call it, like, the size of this notebook, maybe, like, double that, which for a spider is unbelievably large. So we'll call it double the size of that thing. And they just were like, they adhered themselves up on the ceiling, and they were just there. And she's deathly afraid of spiders. I hate them, but I've kind of, in some cases, conquered my fear of them, unless they're, like, right up in my face. Then I'm really not cool with it, but for the most part, I can be the guy that kills them for everybody else. But so she's like, you need to kill these things. Like, these things are fucking huge. Like, get them out of here. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm going to have to deal with them one at a time, because obviously a can of Raid, not going to do shit for something of that scale. No way. And so I go and for some reason, grabbed a pillow, something that's nice and soft, and in no way the appropriate item to, you know, remove this thing from the plane of existence that we're on. And I go over and the first one, I'm able to, like, hit it while the other one's, like, facing away, so it doesn't notice. And I hit this one off the ceiling, and it falls down, and I just absolutely, like, I'm like prison mauling this thing. It's like I'm hitting it with like a couple of rocks that I put in my shirt. I'm just like, get the hell out of here, you son of a bitch. You know, that kind of thing. I'm just, like, lacing into this thing, and, you know, with literally the lightest object in the fucking house, and I kill it. Finally. Super great. So it's dead, and now I decide I gotta go for the other one. And we'll do this other race while I finish up the story. So I was like, all right, well, I gotta go for the other one now. And so this one, I get ready to go knock it off the ceiling, and this thing comes down on its own. And it fell down so fast that I couldn't even keep up with it. Oh, damn, there's a Storm V12 in here? Oh, tight. Oh, I love that thing. That is a cool looking car. Yeah, it's this one right in front of me, that Lister. Nice. I'm not really a fan of that color scheme for it, though. It's, I mean, don't get me wrong. It has a very, like, 1980s Oregon Ducks color to it, but it needed to have, if it was dominant green instead of dominant yellow, oh my god. Okay, this car is highly overpowered. When we're not just going in a straight line. Okay, I'm gonna have to be a little bit careful on how I drive this thing. It'll take me a couple of minutes, but so boy. And so this thing drops down so incredibly fast that I can't even really respond to it doing that, and it eventually starts, like, just running at a completely inhuman pace over to where Michaela is, which is perfectly fine because it's not a human. So I guess that statement's not, like, unfounded or anything. And so it eventually, like, runs up to her, and I'm just, like, standing there in awe with how quickly this thing's moving. It sprints over to her and, like, climbs up her body and just, like, rests on her face, and this thing is, like, engulfing her face. And for a second, she, like, didn't even respond to it. Like, she was just, like, it's almost like she was in such shock of how quickly it moved that she couldn't really respond to what it was doing either. And eventually, I'm sitting there with my mouth just agape, just jaw to the floor, like, looking at this. I'm just like, oh my god, she's gonna freak the hell out. And like eventually, when you know her brain like came back online in this dream, and she actually realized what was going on, she basically does this. I can't do it because I have to have both my hands. She literally gets under it and just goes straight ahead like that and throws it off her face directly at me, and it lands directly in my mouth. I mean, just, and the thing was so insanely huge that like I couldn't, like, the whole thing couldn't even fit in my mouth. Oh, that's what she said, blah, 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 blah. But, like, maybe, like, a third of that thing, like, lodged itself in my throat, and I just went insane. I was just like, ah! What the fuck is this? It's in my mouth! And instead of, like, spitting it out, instead, I started, you know, dry heaving and, you know, I started, like, puking, more or less. I was just like, whoa, whoa, you know, just completely heaving and just like retching at the fact of what was going on. But instead of like, you know, getting it out of my mouth, I instead started chewing on it. I was like, for some reason, the idea of getting it out of my mouth wasn't the idea, and so instead, I decided to just chew on it and, you know, masticate it to death. Which, I mean, would certainly be a way to get rid of it, just not the way that would be easier, but I was like, at the same time, I guess it would kill it, so, you know, there's always that theology to take into consideration. Okay, we're kind of running into similar fate as to what happened the previous time we did this track, where I was faster than they were, but these turns are what got me into trouble. That was certainly better. So, yeah, and so I ended up, like, going over to the sink after I had chewed on this thing, and I was, like, trying to spit some of the stuff out now that I had, you know, ground that thing up in my mouth, and I started, like, spitting pieces of it out into the sink, and I remember the thing that woke me up out of this dream was I spit one of the eyeballs out, and I just went, and I spit the eyeball out, and it hit the back of the sink. It like hit the back of the sink, hit the lip of it, and bounced straight up and hit me right square in the eyeball, and it woke me up because I was like, ah! It got me in the eye, and I just went, ah! And it like took me off my feet, and I ended up waking up from that, and oh god, it was so gross. Oh, it was just absolutely disgusting. And I cannot catch this thing for the life of me. This is literally the exact same scenario that we just dealt with this car the last time we did this race. You know, I had all the freaking intangibles to catch this thing in terms of just raw power, and now I can't catch this thing if my life depended on it. I don't know what the deal is. Come on, man. I've got to be able to make some kind of ground on this thing somewhere. Come on, here we go. But yeah, dude, I had a strange sequence of two dreams there. It was just not at all what I would have wanted. Not one freaking bit. But there's just nothing I could do about it. I just apparently maybe on days where there's just incredibly hot weather, I just get myself into this weird mode where my brain's like, hey man, it's super hot out, and I know that you're really uncomfortable. So hey, you want to see some shit? It's like, hey, I got plenty of stuff going on that you could totally have for your own, you know, listening and viewing pleasure if you would so much enjoy it. Come on, baby. Come on. We've got to do something here. I've got to make some kind of move. God, get over there. Fuck, I cannot catch him. Every single time I'm making some kind of ground, I end up going straight back to being down by 4 seconds again. It's like it just doesn't even matter what I do. And that will promptly do it right there. Yep, that's going to do it. No sense in really finishing it, because it's not going to do me any good. I mean, I've already lost the race, so it really just behooved me just to fucking call it quits on that. I need to have a car that I can actually control. Like, that car does not handle very well, unfortunately, and that sucks. So what am I going to do? What car? That wouldn't be horrible. But maybe the Vertigo? I don't know. I mean, this thing has fucking 553, which is certainly high. Which, damn, a car that has 553 horsepower can go up to 200 miles an hour. That's pretty impressive. Maybe I should use the LM. I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss at what to use on that race. It's kind of a weird little situation to be caught in. I really don't know what to do with it. I need a car that has a lot of horsepower that can effectively get me through that race, and I just don't know which one to do. Maybe this would work. I don't know. No, because I think that's what we actually used when we were there the first time. Yeah. Boy, we are in kind of a weird pickle here. I don't really know what the proper car to use in this situation is, because nothing seems to be getting the job done. It seems to be whatever I use is just not going to cut it, and that is bad. So, I could use the Calsonic. That's got 878 horsepower. If I can't get it done with that, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it done with anything. I may have to cheese it and use that bad boy. I think that's what we're gonna do, just because I want it done. You know, the challenge isn't what I desire in this. I just want it done and out of the way, so that I can pursue, you know, bigger and better things. So we're gonna stop right here, my friends. When we come back on the next installment of Let's Play Gran Turismo 3: The Ultimate Driving Simulator, we jumped in our Skyline. We're gonna go handle our business. I don't think we need to change our oil or anything. I think I checked into that last time. It looks fine. So, yeah, we'll go back. We'll finish up that race. We'll move on to something else. It's gonna be fine. We'll have more stories to talk about, I am sure. But until then, this is your host, Lovely Cheese Pizza, saying thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Take it easy, you guys. Brought to you by Watermelon. Hermiston Watermelon. Bye, guys. Take it easy.